My name is Georgia. I'm 35. My younger sister stole my entire life while I was trying to hold myself together. She didn't just stay at my house. She moved into it. She slept in my bed, wore my favorite clothes, collected my mail, and signed for every delivery that arrived. To the neighbors, she was me. She'd stand on the porch in my yellow sundress, smile sweetly, and say things like, "Brian's still overseas. You know how the military life goes." People believed her. Why wouldn't they? Brian is my husband. He was deployed for 14 months, and while he was gone serving our country, my own family quietly dismantled the life I had built. We bought our little house 4 years ago with a VA loan. It was a simple 3-bedroom, place with 1 bathroom and a backyard barely big, enough for a grill and a couple of chairs. Nothing luxurious, but it was ours. It sat on a peaceful street near Fort Liberty where folks still waved when they drove by. I painted the kitchen walls a soft sage green one weekend. Brian wrinkled his nose and joked that it looked like a doctor's office. I laughed and told him it felt like peace. We weren't wealthy, just stable, and in my chaotic family, that made us seem almost privileged. I worked as an ER nurse, doing brutal 12-hour shifts that left me drained. Brian was a staff sergeant, calm, dependable, the kind of man who grounded me. We'd been married 6 years and had decided to wait until after this deployment to start trying for kids. The house was supposed to be the foundation for that future. I had always been the fixer in the family, the one everyone called when things went wrong. I paid for my parents' roof repairs years ago. I co-signed loans for Louisa more times than I can count. I thought that if I kept helping, I'd keep being loved. Brian warned me once while we were folding laundry, "Babe, you can't carry everyone forever. Eventually something's going to give." I brushed it off. I shouldn't have. When Brian deployed, I drove him to the base and stood with the other spouses until the buses disappeared. I cried the entire drive home, alone. Before he left, I handled everything I could. Set up autopay for all the bills, installed a small security camera by the front door, and handed my parents a spare key. "Just keep an eye on things," I told my mom. "Water the plants, grab the mail, make sure nothing floods." She hugged me tight. "We've got you, sweetheart. Go do what you need to do." A couple of months later, I took a short-term nursing contract, a few states away to stay busy and earn extra money. I thought it was a good idea at the time. That's when everything unraveled. Louisa's marriage was collapsing. Her husband Todd had a bad gambling addiction. Sports bets, casino apps, you name it. They were drowning in debt and facing eviction. Instead of reaching out to me directly, she went to our mother. My mom saw an empty house with a deployed soldier's wife far away and made a decision that wasn't hers to make. At first they told me Louisa was just crashing on the couch for a few weeks. But weeks turned into months. She moved into our bedroom, started using my things. Then she crossed a line I never saw coming. She began living as me. She introduced herself to the entire neighborhood as Georgia Hendricks. She told them her husband was overseas. She wore my clothes, waved from my porch, and handled my life so smoothly that no one suspected anything. I started sensing something was wrong during our video calls. My mom always angled the phone strangely, never showing the inside of the house. When I asked direct questions, she changed the subject. Then the bills started coming, electricity, water, internet, all switched to Louisa's name. My stomach twisted when I saw them. I logged into the security camera, and there she was, walking around my yard in my robe, chatting with my neighbors like she owned the place. I called my dad in shock. "Louisa is living in my house like it's hers." "She needed help," he said flatly, then ended the call. My mom was even colder. "You weren't there, Georgia. She's holding things down for you." When I mentioned the changed locks, she simply said, "She's your sister," like that made it okay. That was the moment I stopped begging for understanding and started protecting myself. I documented every single thing: bills, screenshots, camera clips, utility records. I talked to a military legal advisor, then hired an attorney. They confirmed what I already feared. This wasn't just family drama. It was identity theft and unauthorized occupancy that could affect Brian's benefits. I served formal eviction papers. The family exploded. My mom called every relative, telling them I was abandoning my own sister in her time of need. No one wanted to hear about the fraud or the stolen identity. Then Brian called from overseas. I told him the full story through tears. He listened in silence, then said quietly, "I'm requesting early return. Send me all the evidence." He came home sooner than expected, still in uniform. We parked a couple blocks away and walked to the house side by side without saying much. When we stepped inside, Todd was sprawled on the couch playing video games. Louisa came out of the bathroom wearing my favorite bathrobe hair still wet. The room went dead silent. Brian looked at her, his voice low and steady. "Take that off now." She didn't argue. I spread the paperwork across the kitchen table. The deed, the bills, the camera footage, the legal notices. My mom showed up minutes later, still trying to smooth things over. "This is all a big misunderstanding," she said. "No," I said firmly. "This was theft." Even my dad looked ashamed. "I should have put a stop to this," he muttered. Louisa and Todd packed up and left that same day. My parents followed soon after. The house finally felt quiet again. But this time it felt like coming home. Brian stood in the living room, looking around slowly. "We're repainting every wall." I smiled for the first time in weeks. "Good." We changed the locks the next morning. Over the following weeks, we slowly made the house ours again. I kept my silly world's okayest nurse mug, though. Some things you don't throw away. You just take them back. Louisa is still out there somewhere, but she's no longer in my life. My parents didn't lose a daughter, but they lost the version of me who forgave endlessly. Brian and I are still here, stronger than before. Not in a flawless house, but in one that finally feels like it belongs only to us. And this time, the keys stay with the people who actually earned them. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Heartwarming Tales,